5 seconds till the enemy
What's up,
reaches
guys?
the battlefield.
Long time no see? Well, anyway,
All troops to
this is how to play jungler properly on MLBB.
Your team is banning.
First, you need to know that jungler must use the Retribution spell to make you more faster clearing the jungle monster. And when Retribution reaches level 5, it will be upgraded to look like this. This will be able to give true damage to the opponent of 100 and has its own effects. Let's give an example like this. First, the Ice Retribution. When you use this Retribution, you will steal the opponent's movement speed by 72 to 100 for 3 seconds. This is what it looks like when someone is hit by the Ice Retribution. They receive debuffs like slow, take 100 true damage to their health, and of course, way more easily killed by their opponents due to the slow effect. And the person who casts the Retribution spell gains speed according to the speed reduction of the opponent. Next, the Bloody Retribution. This Retribution is very useful for jungler tanks, because it has the effect of taking HP equal to 300 plus 24% of the caster's extra HP from them for 3 seconds. For example, when using a jungler assassin or a hero who doesn't have many health points, the hero only gets a normal lifesteal. However, if you use a jungler tank, the effect is doubled or even can reach 4 times the lifesteal obtained. Lastly, the Flame Retribution. The Flame Retribution takes 71 to 120 of the opponent's physical attack and magic power. This Retribution is suitable for heroes who frequently take off squishy enemies, such as Helkert, Hayabusa, Yin, or others. So, if you use this Retribution on an enemy hero who has high base damage, you will take higher physical and magical damage. However, if you use this Retribution on an opponent who has low base damage, you will get a little extra physical or magic damage. After knowing the Retribution spell, we move on to the jungle creeps. There are several types of creeps, such as Purple Buff, which provides the effect of reducing cooldown by 10%, mana cost by 40%, and energy cost by 20%. Most of the heroes who consume energy or mana, a lot of them, started taking this buff. Next, the Orange Buff provides adaptive penetration based on the role and slows enemies for 1 second. If this creep killer plays the assassin, fighter, or tank role, they will gain 5% adaptive penetration, damage, and attack speed, and slow the target by 60%. However, if this creep killer plays the marksman, mage, or support, they will gain 10% adaptive penetration, damage, attack speed, and slow the enemy by 20%. The difference between the two lies in the damage and slowing effect, which looks very different. The left one has a higher slow, but the right one has high damage. The Jungler Monster. They have the same effect, namely restoring 5% max mana and 350 HP. But the one below has the ability where when he dies, he still has a mini version of himself, which can add more stacks of retribution when killing him again. Next, the Lithowanderer. The Lithowanderer has a unique effect, which is that it will provide a speed of 15%. Let's give a comparison when killing it, and not killing it. As we can see, the difference is slight, but this can also sometimes help us because a difference of just 2 or 3 seconds can change the moment in the match. This creep can also open up areas around the jungle like this. So overall, this creep is good, but not as good as Orange or Purple Buff. Next, the EXP or Gold Creep. This creep doesn't have any special buffs. Just as the name suggests, gold and EXP. It also doesn't give HP unless you use a lifesteal item. This creep is a little useful for side laners such as Gold Lane and EXP Lane, as the name of the creep. The Turtle. Turtle is one of the most valuable objectives besides Lord, because this monster determines the path of our early game. If we eliminate the Turtle, it will make our side lane more capable of anything because it gets EXP and gold. And also the Turtle has a shield buff like this, and other teammate also get a similar buff. But the one who gets the most significant buff is the person who kills it. It gains 400 shield and plus 40 for each level, and gains 20 physical attack and plus 2 for each level, and 25 magic power and plus 4 for each level. So the higher your level, the more buffs you get. When your team is doing a turtle contest, please don't do things like this. As we can see, the Franco is Cairo. As we can see, the enemy jungler was eliminated. But what these two people did was wrong, and they should have set up, especially in Roamer. Even though his health was a little reduced, he should have opened the map. And Badang also preferred to clear the lane first while Guinevere set up first. Lastly, the Lord. Lord is one of the keys to victory in this game, besides split pushing and wiping out the enemy, because he has a lot of HP, which is useful for destroying enemy turrets, and he can also skill the turret like this. Well, when you notice, why Lord HP is only 15? Maybe because I killed him in the first minute. The Junglers. Junglers is one of the most challenging lanes in the game, as it requires you to secure as many objectives as possible in the early game. And if you're using in squishy heroes, and your opponent is using this hero, lanes like mid or roamers should protect you as much as possible. If you're playing solo, good luck. The orange buff. Mostly taken by heroes who have a great potential in the early game, and most of them don't use a lot of mana or have a mana. So, when they have reached level 4, they can immediately join the war. In my opinion, it's better to join the war in the EXP lane first, because the EXP lane is the main power to get Turtle. Or at least it can hold the enemy from reaching level 4. If the enemy power EXP is higher in the early game like this.
Request backup. Launch attack. An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has...
After the opponent EXP lane is eliminated, their chance of getting a turtle becomes lower, because the enemy team lacks an initiator to push back your team, especially if their team uses a roamer hero who is not very useful in the early game. After eliminating the turtle, you can choose between helping another lane or taking the jungle, so you can quickly dominate in the early game. Here the side lane is a bit safer, so I choose to farm first. After farming, if you see a side lane like this, immediately help it, especially if your hero power is high at early game, and the enemy did not use a roamer high control. After that, Continue with the objective as usual, so the enemy cannot catch up in gold. And congrats. Now you dominated the early game. Next, you need to eliminate at least one of your enemies, and then kill the Lord. Lastly, you only need to push 3 lanes at the same time, so that the enemy has difficulty defending one of the lanes. First of all, you take the orange buff at the beginning, and you ask the roam team to protect you if the enemy uses a strong roamer hero in the early game, and ask your mid lane to guard and watch your purple buff if he has cleared the minions. Next, you take the creep next to the orange buff. After that, you can take the Litho Wanderer if the enemy power lower or not too far from you. And then, you can take the purple buff. After that, take the creeps next to the purple buff, and then help the EXP lane, so that the enemy EXP lane doesn't dominate in the early game. Lastly, you can take the turtle a little more safely, because your enemy EXP lane is 1 level behind. Now, we move on to the purple buff. This buff is the core of heroes who use a lot of mana. Without it, their rotation will be disrupted because these heroes use skills to rotate quickly. And worst of all, they could die in a war because they don't have the mana to escape. The rotation is almost the same as the start of taking the orange buff. Only this start prioritizes heroes who use a lot of mana, so they don't have difficulty when taking other buffs or creeps. Here, the enemy prioritizes the gold lane, because the enemy uses Moskov, because he has an ultimate that makes him very fast to rotate to the turtle, and makes it possible to push back my team because we are outnumbered. But something I didn't expect. The enemy chose to pressure our gold lane, so they didn't get the turtle, and chose to take my purple buff. Luckily, I didn't use heroes like Fanny, so I didn't really need that buff in this situation. Here I tried to bait Hilda to my team side, so that they were forced to go to war to save her, but it failed. And I tried to take revenge by taking Yi Shun Shin buff because Hilda hadn't respawned yet.
Initiate retreat. You have slain an enemy. Ally has been slain.
Here I skip to the second turtle, because the rest of the gameplay is literally almost the same as starting from the orange buff. And you must always be alert if the enemy is not visible on the map, because you are using a squishy hero. The rest is completely free. All you need to do is play it safe and wait for the Lord's spawn, or pick off any single enemy as much as possible to disrupt enemies' rotation. After the Lord's spawn, you can set up your position. Try to pick off one enemy as usual. Well, anyway, now we are at the second Lord, and I'm trying to do a backdoor attack. Here I'm waiting for the enemy to let their guard down and not guard their high ground.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Triple kill.
Wiped out.
I forgot to mention something. In this game, there are several types of junglers, such as jungler tank, mage, or marksman. However, these picks are usually situational. For example, jungle tank can be used if your team lacks durability, especially when your roamer is squishy. But this choice also has its weaknesses. The jungler plays a key role in securing objectives, so if they are the one initiating a fight, they will likely be the first to get hit by crowd control. This makes it harder for them to use retribution properly when contesting objectives, which can lower your team chances of securing them, especially if the jungler is also responsible for opening the map. The jungler mage is also the same. He is also situational. If the enemy is mostly tank heroes, he can penetrate their defense. But this can also be handled by using marksman carry or mid-lane Lunox. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to comment below.